We will not bow down in the face of any of these difficulties. World powers are lining up with cowardice to force us to bow our heads. Just as you did not bow down in the face of difficulties, we will not bow down in the face of these problems.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said on Saturday that the nation will not yield to external pressure as U.S. President Donald Trump considers limited military strikes to influence the ongoing nuclear talks with the Islamic Republic. Pezeshkian said that despite the problems and harm caused by the enemy, the Iranian people will never yield to the enemy's bullying and coercion, noting that facing difficulties, Iran is determined to overcome challenges and defend national dignity. Iran's stance comes as Trump confirmed on Friday that he is weighing preliminary limited military strikes to force Iran to accept U.S. demands regarding a nuclear agreement. Also on Saturday, the Iranian Foreign Ministry officially labeled the naval and air forces of all European Union states as terrorist organizations. The move is a response to the EU's recent decision to list Iran's Islamic Revolution Guards Corps as a terrorist organization.
Amid escalating Iran-US tensions, a shocking report has revealed explosive details about high-level discussions inside the White House. As per an Axios report, US President Donald Trump has reviewed military options that go far beyond diplomacy with Tehran. Among the most dramatic scenarios, the targeted killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The same proposal reportedly includes potential action against Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, who is widely viewed as possible successor within Iran's clerical power structure. The U.S. Department of Defense has reportedly presented multiple strike options. Advisors reportedly claim that planners have built responses tailored for nearly every possible escalation scenario. A proposal involving Iran's top leadership was first floated several weeks ago. That suggests contingency planning has been underway longer than publicly known. This comes as Trump has signaled he may consider limited military action within days. He recently set a 10 to 15-day window for Tehran to reach an agreement.
What is the issue between America and Iran? This confrontation that has existed, it's been over 40 years that Iran and America have been enemies. What is this issue? In my opinion, the issue can be summed up in two words, and those two words are America wants to swallow Iran. However, the courageous and resilient Iranian nation, alongside the steadfast Islamic Republic, are actively working together to prevent this from happening through their unwavering determination and strength. I'm not pessimistic. I told you about this before. I went to propose marriage and you ask, is everything settled? The issue comes down to just two words. I say, we want your daughter, and they reply, you have no right. Now, the Iranian nation has told the other side, you have no right, meaning the Iranian nation's fault is this very issue. The dispute is over this matter. In Iran, your country, there are many attractions. Iran's oil is an attraction. Iran's gas is an attraction. Iran's rich mines are an attraction. Iran's strategic and geographical position is an attraction. There are many other characteristics as well. Iran is a country that a greedy, aggressive power would naturally covet. It is only natural that they set their sights on it. Iran is such a country. They want to take over this country, just as they had occupied it before. For more than 30 years, the Americans were in Iran. The resources were in their hands. The oil was in their hands. Politics was in their hands. Security was in their hands. Relations with the world were in their hands. Everything was in their hands, and they did whatever they wanted. For 30 years it was in their hands, then it was cut off, and now they want to come back and have the same situation as during the Pahlavi era.
Washington has reinforced its regional posture with major naval deployments. The carrier strike group led by USS Abraham Lincoln was sent earlier this year. Now the USS Gerald R. Ford is also heading toward the Middle East. The twin carrier presence is widely interpreted as strategic leverage. Iran insists its nuclear program remains peaceful and rejects zero enrichment demands as a violation of its sovereign rights.
As you know, Iran is a hotspot right now, and they're meeting, and they have a good relationship with the representatives of Iran, and, you know, good talks are being had. It's proven to be, over the years, not easy to make a meaningful deal with Iran. We have to make a meaningful deal, otherwise bad things happen. But we have to make a meaningful deal. But they have a great relationship with the representatives of Iran. It costs you 100 times what it costs to make peace. We have a man at the end. And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. And they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they've been told that very strongly. And now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we're doing. And if they join us, that'll be great. If they don't join us, that'll be great too. But it'll be a very different path. They cannot continue to threaten the stability of the entire region, and they must make a deal. Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen if it doesn't. Nice to have you both. Very proud of you. The Prime Minister of the war in Gaza is over. It's over. There are little flames. Hamas has been, I think they're going to give up their weapons, which is what they promised. If they don't, it'll be, they'll be harshly met, very harshly met. They don't want that. They did that, and I just thought it was very nice. And it makes me work harder. We're going to have to work harder. We're going to have to make this building much more important. They built it. It went into Iran, and it totally decimated the nuclear potential. And when it decimated that, all of a sudden we had peace in the Middle East, because there was a black cloud hanging over the Middle East, and if that wasn't done, that cloud would have been there. And countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like Qatar, countries like, nobody could have signed. You would have had that threat. You couldn't have had peace in the Middle East. So now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days. Most of them very immediately. A few that we really don't want. But for that, they brought the last one home a week ago. But together we're committed to achieving a Gaza that is properly governed throughout. The whole area is going to be, so many countries that have really nothing to do with the Middle East, but they may be somewhat close by. They're all involved. They want to go in and fight. They tell me all the time, we'd like to send soldiers to fight if it's necessary. And I don't think it's going to be necessary. We have two countries that want to go in and do a number on Hamas. I said, I really don't think I hope it's not going to be necessary, because they made a promise, and they promised me get rid of their weapons. Looks like they're going to be doing that, but we'll have to find out. But it's no longer a hotbed of radicalism and terror.